Sean O'Malley is not happy with Joe Rogan and Daniel Cormier at all. In a recent interview, the exciting UFC up-and-comer has revealed that listening to their commentary during his fights drive him crazy. So sit back, relax, and keep watching this video as we talk about what exactly ticks off the bantamweight fighters so much. Let's get into it. First off, Sean O'Malley talks about his problems with Joe Rogan and Daniel Cormier's commentary. Sean, aka Sugar, is one of the most promising new stars in the UFC. The 27-year-old has fought professionally 16 times and has only lost once. Yeah, that's impressive. He's currently ranked 13th in his division, but both fans and analysts expect great things from him in the near future. His one loss came against Marion Vera in 2020, and that still bothers him to this day. But what drives him absolutely crazy is how Joe Rogan and Daniel Cormier both seem to think that his opponents should go for the legs against him. Appearing on the DC and RC show, Sugar told Cormier directly that he does not agree with their comments at all. He revealed that he watches his fights back over and over again, and every time he hears DC or Rogan wonder why his opponents aren't kicking his legs, he gets very frustrated. Sean claimed that while Vera did land a leg kick against him, it wasn't really a good quality leg kick. He also said that what went wrong was his opponent's big toe hit him in the hip on the nerve when he was pulling out from a kick. He added that he dominated that fight and asked Cormier to go watch it again. Basically, Sean doesn't believe that leg kicks are his weakness at all, and we gotta say, we see where he's coming from. If this was really the case, more of his opponents would have tried to target him there. Also, if you watch that fight, you can clearly see that Sean's leg kicks were landing much more effectively. So how did Cormier respond? In response to Sean's complaints, DC said that he only refers to the leg kicks because that's literally the only tactic that has worked against him so far in the octagon. The former light heavyweight and heavyweight champion told Sean that he has a boxing stance, which is why it would seem like that would be his weakness. DC also said that Sugar should take that as a compliment, as no one else has come close to finding an answer against him. And you know what? He's right as well. When you've literally lost just once, people are obviously going to point out the fight and try to find vulnerable spots. Sean should really be flattered that even people who have worked in the UFC for such a long time cannot seem to find any problems with the way he fights. Sean responded to this by saying that he really rejects what the commentators do, but also that it bothers him that people mention that Vera fight and say that he was found out. He believes that his opponent got lucky and he didn't deserve to lose that fight at all. Next up, Sean wants a rematch with Marlon Vera. We know what you're wondering. Is that really the case? Why doesn't he just fight Vera again and clear his name? Well, it appears that it's exactly what he wants to do, because Sean believes that Vera's victory against him was basically a fluke. He's eyeing a rematch soon. He's facing Pedro Munoz on July 3rd, and in a recent appearance on the MMA Hour, he expressed that after he defeats Pedro, he wants to take on a top 5 guy. Sean also said that what he wants the most is a fight against Vera, but that depends on whether he's available. A rematch between Vera and Sean would be incredibly interesting, mainly because they've both improved a lot since their last fight. Let's see if it actually ends up happening. If it does, you can be sure that we'll be tuning in. And what else did they talk about in the podcast? After the conversation about the leg kicks, the podcast became a little lighthearted as they started talking about the young star's fashion choices. The host praised Sean's style and called him an incredibly stylish dude. And they're spot on. He's really creative with his outfits and he always manages to look great. They also mentioned the time he dressed like Michael Jackson and praised him for pulling it off fantastically. Sean revealed that he was listening and dancing to a bunch of MJ at the time, and when he spotted a replica jacket, he had to get it. And we're glad that he did. That look is literally iconic. So yeah, while Sean doesn't really like what DC had to say about his fighting capabilities, it appears that the two men are on really good terms, and there's no bad blood between them, and it's always very good to see that. That's all about Sean O'Malley's explaining why UFC commentary from Joe Rogan and Daniel Cormier drives him crazy. Now it's time to move on to some other related news. First off, Khabib Nurmagomedov calls win against Conor McGregor the top moment of his career. What can be said about Khabib Nurmagomedov that hasn't been said already? The Russian is widely regarded as one of the best fighters of all time. He participated in 29 fights in his professional MMA career, and guess what? He didn't lose even one. Now, that's not just impressive, it's extraordinary. Do you realize how good he had to be to achieve something like this? He was recently inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame for his amazing career. During his time in the spotlight, Khabib was part of quite a few memorable fights, but let's be honest, nothing compares to the time he defeated Conor McGregor in 2018, and apparently he agrees. Speaking to reporters during the Hall of Fame event, Khabib said that he's very happy that he won this fight because it was literally the biggest fight in MMA history. He also said that he was okay with losing any other fight, but not that one. That one he absolutely had to win, and that's completely understandable considering how heated and ugly things got between him and Conor in the weeks leading up to the fight. The stakes were incredibly high. He had to come out on top for his legacy. Khabib is currently retired, and we just hope that he's having a good time. It's what he deserves. Next up, what's all this talk about a potential McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather rematch? In August 2017, McGregor and Floyd Mayweather were part of arguably the biggest boxing fight of all time. Obviously, Mayweather ended up winning via TKO in the 10th round and extended his professional record to 50-0. However, for someone who had zero experience in boxing, McGregor was actually quite good. Now, considering Mayweather's literally retired and McGregor also seems to be nearing the end of his career, no one thought that the the two would ever face each other off again, but recently there have been rumors of the two participating in a potential rematch. According to reports, Mayweather has offered McGregor around 150 million euros for the fight. Apparently, the legendary boxer wants this because he considers it to be easy money. Ouch, don't let Conor hear that. So when is it likely to take place? Well, according to what we've been hearing, the two could take on each other in March. But don't get your hopes up so quickly. These sources were unverified, and we don't know anything for sure. UFC President Dana White also shot down these rumors on the Jim Rome show and said that Conor's return will most definitely be in the octagon. Shame on you, Dana. Let the fans dream. Finally, Daniel Cormier has admitted to cheating. Okay, we all knew it. Now, we finally have confirmation from the man himself. In 2017, the former two-weight world champion Daniel Cormier was set to rematch Anthony Johnson. When he tipped the scales just over the 200-pound limit, the fighter was given a few hours to lose the extra pound. But surprisingly, he chose to return a few moments later. He stripped down and decided to weigh in nude so that he could make weight. But that's not all he did. He also tightly gripped the towel that was presented. So he did end up making weight and even defeated Johnson to retain his world title. Since the infamous incident, Cormier has always defended himself and denied cheating. However, during his induction to the Hall of Fame, he said that he may have grabbed the towel that fateful night. He had tried to make weight for his fight, but just couldn't and ended up using an old wrestling trick. Apparently, his coach made the suggestion when he refused to cut any more weight in the bath. Well, as they say, better late than never. It's good to see that he's owning up to what he did instead of continuously denying it like he's done in the past. And that's a wrap for this video. So what do you think of Sean O'Malley's frustrations with the UFC commentators? Make sure to leave a comment below and let us know what you think. Please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.